everyone, it's Julia. This week I made a couple little mini wall hangings with a scrappy background, and I thought I'd share with you this easy method. And again, it's just using up some scraps that I've had. I kind of picked out some greens and brown colors, and that long green one is my first thing that I'm going to be working on, and just adding pieces to it. My right sides are together, and I'm taking a 1/4 inch seam allowance. It doesn't matter what size these are or shape, but I do like to have a straight edge underneath my sewing machine foot. Then to my pressing mat, and I'm pressing these the seam to one side. And then I'm going to be cutting these apart. And then just kind of figuring out how I'm going to be doing my next seam. And again, just going to be joining these in one continuous strip. And again, pressing. And then cutting my strips apart. This is such a fun way just to add all sorts of different little interesting pieces. I like the varying sizes that you end up with. And now I have all these strips, and I'm going to be combining those. I ended up with two pieces. They both measure approximately 8 inches across by 10 inches in length. Just doing some straightening there. And now I'm making my sandwich. I have a warm and natural batting in between the layers, and then just a plain muslin on the back. And I'm going to be going to my sewing machine, and I'm going to be quilting these. One, I do a meander stitch with free motion, and then the other one I'm going to show you here. I'm just using my walking foot or my even feed foot, and just doing just a little bit of I don't know, a swervy straight line here. Really easy. And this is the meander stitch one that I did with free motion. And then the one with the walking foot. The walking foot is going to help feed all those layers together. Just again, cleaning up my sides here. I always like to cut my batting and my backing a little bit bigger. It's just easier to cut it down when you're done quilting. I wanted to add a design, applique design to the top of this now, and I decided on this pine tree and this star. And have a little bit of a Christmas theme here. Just do out my design, and I'm going to be rough cutting these pieces out. This is Heat and Bond Light. And then I'm going to be adding that adhesive to the back of these. Again, this is on the back side of my little scraps there. You see that cream colored piece? I always put that on top of my wool mat because I'm really good at getting the adhesive where I don't want it. Just removing that paper back now on that Heat and Bond Light. Getting my pieces where I want it on my little quilts. And then just ironing these into place. Removing that paper, and again getting them where I want them, and then just pressing them down. I wanted to add some words to this, and I just decided on the quote, "Do you see what I see?" Just referring to the star in the east. And I'm going to take it again to my sewing machine. Now I have my feed dogs dropped and my free motion foot on, and I'm going to be just free motioning these words, basically just trying to get as close as I can. I did use a heat erase pen here, so I can remove any pen that is showing. I go over my letters twice and just do my best I can. You can go as slow as you want on this. This is another place that you can certainly just use a needle and thread here and do some hand stitching. I'm not very good with slow stitching though, and it's something I want to work on. But for me, it's just easier to do the free motion. Just doing it around my star as well. I go over my star twice too. Not too concerned if I get exactly on the line. I do like that sketched on look. And then we'll go over to my pine tree as well and finish that. And here's what it looks like. I can still see a little bit of that heat erase pen, so I will be removing that. I'm going to list everything down below for you if you're interested in the products that I'm using. And now it's on to my binding, and I don't show this, but I will link down below the I did a video on how to do this easy binding, and I do stitch it down on the back by hand. And now I wanted just to add something fun to the trunk of these trees. This is just a piece of jute, and I'm having a heck of a time finding the end of it, but I finally did. I'm just going to zigzag just a little bit of that onto the trunk of these trees, just to add some texture. And then I also want to do the hanger with this. I'm just drawing a little circle there, and I'm going to be punching this with my crocodile punch. This easily goes through the fabric, and I'm using the largest setting here, the largest punch, which is a 3/16 inch. And I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and just do free motion, an eyelet, just a very organic look, going around and around and around these circles, just to reinforce that and give it an eyelet look. I'm going to add a little bit of that jute to the top, sticking it through, and then adding a wooden bead with a large hole, tying my knot, and then doing the same to the other side. Just thought this is going to be a fun woodsy type look to add to these little wall hangings. I'm going to snip that, and then I'm going to just unravel the ends a little bit just to fray them. And it completes my project for this week. I hope you enjoyed this. I do share some pictures at the end here so you can see some of the close-up shots on it. Bye everybody. I hope you have a chance to create this week. Bye for now.